Hello, this is Weasel News. I'm Maxine Finch, and to our left we have Jason Tanners, the audit. Tell us about yourself.
My name is Jason Tanners. I'm an auditor. I stand outside of Rockford PD and audit the police.
When you say audit the police, what does that mean?
So auditing the police is so the auditor is kind of short form. It's people would consider me a First Amendment auditor. I audit the police and make sure that they're not violating people's rights. For me, it's usually the First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendments.
Has there ever been a moment where that's worked for you, or on the opposite side, gone wrong?
Um, Yeah, there have been a few encounters where I've been asked what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and I've had some officers express their distaste for my presence there. One of them being a very severe failure of the audit that I was conducting.
Could you describe that event to us?
Sure. Um, uh, the encounter in question was uh, with one officer, Faye Lightwood. Her name was granted to me via a FOIA request, and had um, she had come up to me saying that I wasn't allowed to be taking pictures of the building and the on-duty state employees who, quote unquote, could be carrying suspects, which in her eyes were considered private citizens. But when I operate under journalistic standards as an auditor, I make sure private citizens' identities are protected with blurs or sensors or anything like that. But with on-duty state employees, that's not something that I have to apply because they don't. I have every right to take photos and videos of on-duty state employees. She did not think that this was true, and she told me to leave the premises. And we had like a 20-minute conversation about whether I was or wasn't allowed to be there.
Did you end up putting a complaint in?
Yeah, so um, the conversation got very, I wouldn't say hostile, but it did get very petty um, because I knew that I was allowed to be there and I knew what I was allowed to take pictures of and not take pictures of. And she vehemently disagreed, which is strange to me because she was an officer of the LSPD. And I imagine that they undergo some sort of civil rights training, but I guess that wasn't present in her training because she did not have any clue what kind of rights that I possessed.
And that's a bit unfortunate considering their position.
I'd agree. Yeah, I did file. Yeah, but to your question, I apologize. I did file a complaint against Officer Lightwood, and after a few days, I checked the progress of the complaint, and it said that the complaint was resolved. I tried to submit a FOIA request for more details, but internal affairs internal affairs reports are not something that are to be subject to FOIA, so I wasn't entitled to that information, which is understandable.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more plans with your audits?
Yeah, I plan on continuing to audit for the foreseeable future. Officer Lightwood and several of her colleagues that also expressed their distaste makes it clear to me that there are officers that aren't aware of the civil rights that are granted to the citizens of Los Santos, and they make it apparent that my job is necessary. So I'll continue to do it for the foreseeable future. Absolutely.
Do you in into it?
Um, Me personally, I don't think so. I feel like the job is necessary. The only way that I'd see myself not doing it is if I become more involved with the law or more involved with a higher up position with government or something like that. I don't plan on running for government or anything, but at least being an advocate for certain things that make sure the rights of the citizens are upheld is. I'd always be involved with that, whether it's through auditing or otherwise.
Yeah, I think we all saw you at the legislative meeting.
Yeah, HR 147 is a big point of contention for me. Um, HR 147 infringes very heavily on the free market when it comes to small and larger businesses, government oversight is, or at least more government oversight, is never the answer for handling the free market when it comes to businesses. So I made my position known on that.
And you continue to make it all there and on Twitter, and you've caused some movements. I recall when 149 first came out and before it was taken down, that you were one of the first to start speaking about it.
Yeah, 149 was very flawed, like right from the very beginning. But I know that Representative Avery was and his team were quick to pull that back and redraft it to be more to be more. What's the word I'm looking for? I'd say more functional with the way that they intend to use the bill.
And that's good to hear,
Mm-hmm.
especially considering all the all the feedback they got from the public.
Oh yeah, immediately the public was like down his throat. I felt somewhat bad on like a personal level because he was getting so much flack for that. But he did exercise his office very well by immediately taking it back and rewriting it.
Yeah.
That's what Audrey Storm told me about HR 147 at the meeting. But politicians, we'll see if that actually comes to fruition at all.
Yeah, definitely see. We'll keep our eyes on that.
Yeah,
You
same.
said that you're going to continue standing up for people's constitutional rights. Do you have anything specific you're planning for the future?
Right now, I'm planning on continuing my auditing and being a street advocate for certain things, like making sure that I stay unbiased and unbeholden to certain representatives or certain parties or anything like that. I just plan on continuing doing what I do now.
All right. Well, you're doing a lot of good work out there, Tanners.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for coming.
Of course, anytime.
And that's all we have for tonight. Jason Tanners, Weasel News.
Thank you.